Hello again. It's Brandon White, your local journalism initiative for MBC Radio News here in La Ronge. In this interview, you're going to hear again from Chris Merasty of Men of the North. I sat down with him recently to see what the group is up to and to see how they've changed their focus to helping fulfill a community need. If you or someone you know is having trouble getting food, groceries, medicines, or things that they need because either they're an elder, they're immune compromised, maybe they have a mobility issue, or they're not eligible for home care. If you or someone you know can't get what they need, please get a hold of Chris at the number we'll provide. Men at the North may be able to help you out. Let's hear about that service that they're doing and about some more things that they have in mind for the La Ronge area. Thanks for sitting down with me, Chris, again. I know that we're in a bit of different circumstances and different times now. As you can see, I'm here in my somewhat messy room, so thank you all for ignoring that. And Chris is at home in the safety of his own home. So things are a bit different since we spoke in February. I want to thank you again, Men of the North, for coming to MBC back then a couple months ago to get the word out. But the situation's changed now for everyone, including your group. And now it's pivoted a little bit from being an internal self-help group for men to helping out the community fulfill a need. So in your own words, what's the last few weeks been like, and what are the Men of the North up to?
Right on. Well, thank you very much, Brennan. As I want to start off with is giving a great big shout out to all our frontline workers out there. You guys keep up the good work. Stay safe, stay healthy for your families and for your community. Be very proud of what you're doing and who you're helping yesterday, today, and tomorrow. As well as a big thank you to all our volunteers that helped us along the way. Brian Merasty and his staff, the support staff from all the schools, and all the teachers adapting to change and helping our youth with online schooling. The Chief and Council, the Lac La Ronge Indian Band Emergency Response Team, Town of La Ronge, community members, as well as the council members, our community coordinator, and everyone doing all the background work as well. And everybody else I forgot to mention, thank you all very much. Your hard work does not go unnoticed. But yes, as far as your question is, the Men of the North, now we shifted kind of our group since this COVID there, all our group meetings and all our group activities are on hold until things get under control with this COVID-19 crisis. So we shifted our group from, helping the men in our community to the men helping our community. So such things as, delivery of groceries, cleaning supplies, as well as prescription pickups and deliveries if needed. So we have adapted. Things been going really good. It gives the men or the volunteers, a good sense of purpose, a sense of accomplishment, and it's given back to the community. And that's exactly what I started this Men of the North for, is to give back to the community.
I'm just jarring my memory a little bit from when we talked at the radio station. We talked a little bit about the role of men as warriors in culture and to stand up for your community, and we even talked a little bit about the healing nature of rising above your circumstance to help other people. So I don't think it's so crazy of a thing for the group to pivot in this way. I think it could be arguably within the purview that you did set out, although it was lofty when we talked, that you wanted to enrich and empower these men. So you've had to jump forward a little bit in that, I think, but it's really good to see the group coming together this way. So what you mentioned that you're delivering food, medicines, and cleaning supplies for the compromised, or for our most vulnerable in the La Rongean area community. Tell us more about that. Like, do you have any metrics in terms of how many baskets you're able to get out to the people? Are you working with anybody in this regard? Tell us more.
Last week we delivered. Actually, no, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. There, we delivered 101 hampers, helping 451 community members, and that was on reserve. And we did have help with Brian Merasty as well as his staff, as well as the Ronge Indian Band and school staff there, helping. You know. The men in the north there were unloading the trucks. The Ronge Indian Band volunteers helping cleaning and sanitizing all the supplies that came in and putting them into hampers. And then for Brian Merasty and his staff to get vans together and drivers for those vans as passengers. And we delivered, I think it was about 4 or 5 households per van. So we would load them up. They would go out, deliver these hampers, come back for some more. And I think we started off, I believe it was 10 a.m. and I think we were done our last delivery about 4 p.m. So it was a pretty busy day. And like I said, we helped out 451 community members that day. That was very awesome.
That is huge. And also, that is playing a significant role in helping to keep our far north numbers low as well, right? We want to, there's been a bit of press around the possible community transmission involving people maybe shopping more than they need to at a greater frequency. So this effort really does help the community transition stay down, especially for, as I understand, it's for targeted for vulnerable citizens or the elderly, people with mobility issues. So I'm sure you're helping people that really need to be helped. Is it just for the Ronge area?
No, we could go out as far as Hall Lake, Stanley Mission if needed. We've been out to Hall Lake, Sigachu, Sucker River. We haven't been out to Stanley Mission as of yet, but I mean, if it does require, we could definitely pick up your purchase or your orders here in Ronge. We can deliver them to your checkpoints there in your community, and then we go from there, kind of thing.
Wow,
we don't have to come. We don't have to come right into your community. We could work something out where we can drop them off, deliver either a trailer or a truckload right to your guys' checkpoint, and meet somebody there, and we can just go our separate ways from there, kind of thing.
So that's amazing. So it seems like in the vacuum of any really significant community or municipal policy from the Ronge or Ronge or altogether doing this, there's been a bunch of kind of citizen civic things that have come up to fill this need. Of course, the Ronge Indian Band is a formal First Nations kind of government, and they're doing their thing really well. But we don't have too many services like this in the Ronge. Like I know there was Meals on Wheels once upon a time, and there is some home care for people that have acknowledged problems. But for a lot of other people, they're either turning to the Ronge community programmer Avon Cole, who I know you've been working with, or we saw some stuff recently that the Filipino community is being very active in filling some of these same needs. So it's good to see that you guys are working together and kind of making an ad hoc network for people to get what they need. What would you, can you talk a little bit about, I know there will be, I think what you're doing is amazing. For the people that don't know, I have MS. I'm an immune compromised person. So I might be one of your potential people calling you and getting you to do some groceries for me. So thank you and Men of the North and everybody that's doing this service in the Ronge. Really quickly though, just so that we cover this base, what are you guys doing in terms of sanitation or making sure that you don't potentially become a vector yourselves?
One of the things that we do is we supply our volunteers with proper PPE, such as gloves, masks, coveralls, as well as cleaning disinfectant spray, hand sanitizer. So that way, when you get out of your vehicle, say if you have to go inside somewhere, make sure that you clean and sanitize your hands, spray down anything that you've touched, spray down your keys, your steering wheel, any kind of high touch areas. So we supply all that type of stuff to you as a volunteer. And then as well as we'll help out with reasonable transportation costs, a little bit of gas money or stuff like that, help out with snacks, coffee, drinks. And then we also is we deliver items to your doorstep. We don't come in your house, so we try to keep that distance. We don't want to run in any chance that either we might be infected or you might be infected or anything like that. So we want to keep that distance, keep that social distance in there. So what we'll do is we'll deliver to your doorstep, knock on a door, and then we'll get back into our vehicle and then wait for you to give us the wave, and then away we go to the next person.
Great. And how does money change hands? God forbid you're out of pocket for this kind of service.
No, we do got a little bit of funding. I applied for a community initiative funding program through Sask Health, and I told them since our group activities, our meetings are kind of on hold during this crisis, is maybe I can repurpose that money and helping volunteers with the Men of the North, helping them with proper protective equipment, reasonable transportation costs, as well as snacks, coffee, that type of thing. And they gave me the approval for that.
Nice. That's thinking on your feet. So just to get into the nitty gritty of it, if I were going to use this service, can I give you cash? Do you prefer me to work with, like, let's say, the co-op downtown to have a credit card on file? How does the nitty gritty of that transaction take place in a safe way?
Like we don't like handling cash, but I mean, if we need to, then we will. But as far as if you have a credit card, please phone to the co-op. Margaret there, I talked to her. She's willing to take your credit card information as well as your um, co-op number. And when you bring in your groceries, or when we put in an order for groceries or whatever, we'll go there. The co-op will go and pick up your groceries, and it's not going to be all the groceries on the list, because I was told that they're having problems with supplying the shelves with things like toilet paper, hand soap, hand sanitizers, cleaning products, that type of stuff. So a lot of that stuff you might not be able to get, and honestly, they're having the same problems down south too. So if you travel down to PA, thinking that you're going to go get all these items, they're having the same problems there as well.
Maybe
So,
even more people.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, so if they're having those problems, is we can, keep on checking, let us know our phone co-op, our phone aces, our phone giant tiger, maybe they might have some of that stuff there, and do kind of, help us out. Okay, well, co-op doesn't have this, but giant tiger does. So if you can, maybe swing by giant tiger, pick up these items over there. And also, don't phone us and require a bag of chips or a pop or something like that, because we're definitely not going to be like that and deliver one or two items. We definitely like to get a few items in there and make it worth the trip, kind of thing, not just oh, bring me some toilet paper kind of thing. We really don't want to do that. We don't really want to get into that kind of situation, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's not forget that you guys are doing this of your own volition and good heart. So it's not purely a delivery
exactly.
service. It's for the vulnerable.
Yes, exactly. So if you can come up with like a good grocery list, everything that you need, we'll go into the grocery stores under proper protective equipment, and we'll go and handpick your items for you, because I don't think co-op is doing that, handpicking
Not yet.
items. But they are taking the credit card information with your co-op number, so there's that option there. So that way, we're not handling cash, we're not handling any kind of making any kind of transactions or anything to do with cash, kind of thing. And you know how those things get kind of misunderstood. A lot of miscommunication can happen in there, and all this type of stuff too. So we like to make sure that everything's communicated properly. Every transaction is handled respectfully, and we'll just go from there.
Awesome. So, those who are vulnerable and are having trouble getting food and groceries, medications, or cleaning slash sanitation products, Men of the North is one avenue for you to pursue. How do they get a hold of you?
You can go on to our Facebook page, Men of the North. I also have numbers here. If anybody would like me to read them out, I can definitely read them out. If you need to get a pen, I can give you a couple seconds here to get a
Give me
pen.
those numbers. I'm ready.
Okay, 306 425 3455 or 306 425 7128. 639 470 3476 or 306 425 7335. Or you can even email us at we stand together at menofthenorth.net or check on our Facebook page, Men of the North.
Awesome. I was just jotting those down because I might actually use this service. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
Um,
and like I said, it's on our Facebook page. All our information's on there, and you just go on there, and it's all there for you.
um, I know we have some other things to talk about, but I want to give you an opportunity to share maybe, you said 101 baskets, 400 or 500 community members that are being not directly, but indirectly and safely affected by this program. You must have a good story or two where it really hit the heartstrings and made you feel like this was worth it. Can we share a little
Oh,
piece of positivity?
Oh yes, as one of the drivers came back after doing a delivery, he went to I think it was his last stop there, and he delivered this hamper on these families' doorstep, and he's seeing a bunch of little kids standing in the picture window, and they were all happy and excited to see all this food coming to their doorstep, and it really shook and really like you know touched his heart, and he came and he shared that information with me, and I was like, oh my god, like that's awesome. That's exactly what we need to do. That's exactly what we were shooting for, is to help those in need. I know some people are going through a tough time today, and whether it be losing their job or even struggling through this pandemic, whether it be physically, mentally, uh, emotionally, or even spiritually. I mean, it's a tough and a challenging time. So for us doing this, and in our community working together to help support our community, that is, it's going to be beneficial for everybody here in our community.
I think so, and it's great to hear about these citizen civic led solutions because everybody's scared and everybody is. It's hard to even think at a time like this, let alone if you have something else that's limiting your ability to get what you need.
Oh yes.
Um, can we talk a little bit more about moving beyond what you're doing and some things that you see as maybe areas where Men of the North might grow into, i.e., these educational check stops and housing the homeless? So, check stops. What gave you this
Hmm.
idea? Have you participated in this before? I know we're not doing this as a province or as a community.
Educational check stops. No, we helped Hall Lake, Sucker River, and Sigachoo, as in regards to they set up a checkpoint there in their community, and if for those people that are coming there just to visit or to come and hang out and that type of stuff, is like, no, you go back to your home, you go back and you stay there. Don't come into our community because we don't know if you're infected or not, and we don't want to run that risk. So just stay home, stay out of those communities for now. This is not going to last forever, but the faster we flatten this curve, the faster we can get back to doing the things we love. So I helped them by delivering some signs, getting some signs made up here with creative
Yes,
designs. That's
yes.
what it's called. So she made some signs for us, and then I got some framing work done with Elmer Eisbester. Good job on those frames, Elmer. And so I delivered those to Sucker River, Hall Lake, and Sigachoo, and they were more than happy to get them. And I really think that it's helping those people from entering in those communities as, taking a second guess and what they're doing and turning around and going back home. I mean, if they come into the community to, come and visit, come have a few drinks with their buddy, no, it's not the time right now. Let's stay put where we are. Let's not, take the risk and bringing this virus into those communities that don't have it, and wait until this is over, kind of thing. As far as the educational check stops here in Ronge is, we talked about it. I bring it up probably a couple of weeks ago on to getting some set up here in Ronge. But as far as now, I know the municipal government is opposed for it. They need to get some more information on it. They need to see if it's working, kind of thing. And for me, as well, as I offered our services there to be security for these checkpoints. So that way we're not tying up any RCMP detachments, any firefighters, and that type of stuff. As Men in the North can sit there as security, making sure that those people that are just coming up to visit, making sure that they're not coming through, and making sure that those people that run a high risk of getting infected and coming back into the community, making sure that maybe they're quarantined for 14 days. You come from PA or Saskatoon, go home, go stay at home for 14 days. Here's our phone numbers. Contact us when you need groceries or supplies. We'll come drop them off at your doorstep, and we'll go from there, kind of thing. So keeping those visitors is, the educational check stop that we would like to see set up. I know I had a run in a few days ago with a gentleman that was hitchhiking out of here. And I asked him, I says, well, where are you going and where are you coming from? And he says, well, I came over from PA to come and have a few drinks with a buddy of mine here in town. Now I'm stuck and I'm hitchhiking back home now. And I was like, well, I kind of got upset with him, and I gave him, a little piece of my mind. I told him, I says, during this pandemic, I mean, you really, really shouldn't be coming up here just to have a few drinks with your buddy for a couple days, because you don't know if you're infected, you don't know if your buddy's infected. Now you're taking either, you're bringing that back to us, or you're bringing that to your home, to your family, to your community, kind of thing. So, I mean, yeah.
So it is happening. I mean, we people have their own coping mechanisms, but I thought this actually happened to you, and it's happening on a daily basis. That and we got to remember, Ronge is the hub of the North, right? Mm-hmm. So if there is a spot to provide a linchpin, or one of several to the north for a check stop, probably south of our community is a good candidate. And I also think the educational component is pretty smart, because just for a bit of context, the province has said, I think it was the province, the RCMP they're on the fence about it, because they wonder what the intent would be. And you guys wouldn't be a militia or anything like that. That's how you get around that with the educational component, that you would just be seeing what is the purpose that these people are coming into our community, giving them an opportunity to think about it again, maybe turn around. Or if they don't and they have nefarious intent, then we can work with the RCMP to let them know. So a little bit of further context really quickly. Like you said, the Ronge Mayor, Ron Wojtowicz, is against using these checkpoints. Cumberland NDP MLA Doyle Vermette is undecided. Our Premier, Scott Moe, said multiple times they will not be imposing them. Along our Saskatchewan-Manitoba border, they are doing them from I believe, a volunteer kind of civic thing like we're talking about. But a lot of the First Nations and the LLRIB have been proactive about this. So I think you're ahead of the curve.
I think the main thing, though, for us to set up an educational check stop, the Men in the North would definitely be on board with it. We can do 24-hour follow-ups. We can let our community know, okay, this gentleman here or this individual could be, coming in from these hot zone areas. If you see this person out shopping, out, getting gas, get cigarettes kind of thing, tell this person, no, you're not allowed. You are supposed to be at home, quarantine for 14 days. We can do, daily follow-ups. We can do weekly follow-ups, allowing our community members know, allowing our higher ups, our community leaders know, okay, this is what's going on. This is how many people we had coming in this week. Or just today, we had this many people coming in today. Some of them are just coming in for, dropping off groceries, dropping off gas, and then they're turning around and going straight back out. So we could definitely, deteriorate those people from that are wanting to come up here just to come and have a few drinks with a buddy of theirs, or coming up here to, do some time spending some fishing or anything like
Or
that.
maybe even going out, right? Like,
yes, definitely. Like
leaving.
they're having the same problems as we're having here. They're not, they're running out of toilet paper down south. They're running out of hand sanitizer, running out of Lysol wipes. Anything that they're running out of down south, anything they're running out of here, they're running out down south. Because you got to remember, this is where we get all our stuff is from down south, kind of thing. So if we don't have it here, I guarantee they don't have it down there either. So anybody coming from like Wollaston, Black Lake, and in those places, to stop here in La Ronge, get a few things, and turn around and go back home. You don't have to go down south because they're having the same problems that they are here, and as well as maybe work with co-op, work with Giant Tiger for these northern communities, and order in extra shipments of food, extra shipments of supplies. Tell co-op, okay, we'll work with you. We need all this type of stuff for our community, and we can maybe deliver. We can definitely look at maybe doing a delivery kind of run too, for those far northern community kind of things too. So we can all work together. As this far north, the Churchill area, the Dene culture area, all these places like north of La Ronge and up can definitely work together as a team.
Well, the province put us all together, right? Far north, so we might as well be all together.
Oh, exactly. I mean, we can definitely work together and work to, keep this virus from becoming something that's going to, do a lot of damage in our northern communities.
Awesome. So people, those watching, NBC fans of Men of the North, what do you think of the educational check stop idea? Do you think it's necessary or even needed? Let us know. But we're going to push on with that. The last thing I want to talk to you about is, again, a civic matter, and one that I know that the Men of North have also been thinking of, but has been a bit quiet from the larger governments, and that's our homeless issue in the La Ronge area in the north. There's been some press that says with the long asymptomatic period of COVID, it's possible that our homeless population could be a vector for this disease. So we need to maybe we need to be proactive ahead of actually them coming down with it. From an epidemiological disease perspective, we need to take care of this possible vector. We should be taking care of homeless anyway, but it's an added risk. So tell me what you interpret of this problem and how you've heard other places dealing with it.
Well, definitely our homeless community is, they're always getting looked over. They're always getting walked past. I know the Men of the North, during our meetings and during our operation, is we work with a lot of these homeless men from the scattered sites community, and they come into our meetings. They sit at the table with us and they share, some of their struggles, some of their suggestions, some of their ideas, and we work together with them, showing them that there's better ways of being a community member. So for us, looking over and not allowing our homeless into, getting the proper testing done, because they either don't have, money to pay for them, or they don't have a proper address, or they don't have the proper health card or anything like that, just because, well, they don't have a proper address. So, I mean, we need to, look at that as Sask Health is. We got to
It's a
definitely
public
start
health issue,
testing.
right?
We definitely need to start testing our homeless people, whether it be, take 14 or 15 of these test kits and swab 14 or 15 of them, and do that again in the following week, is take another four. I'm honestly, I don't know how many homeless that we have in the community, but as far as I think is about 14 without homes in our community here in Ronge. So I talking with Jackie Valentine about 3 or 4 days ago, and she
She's
told me that
management with scattered sites, right?
she told me that she might have about 2 or 3 cases of COVID there at the scattered sites, but it's not a guarantee. It's not for sure. It's just what she thinks that there might be. So, I'm working with applied for funding. I noticed that there was a funding application for off-reserve community members, and it's through the federal government. So I put in an application. I'm actually working on one right now as we speak, is to put in an application to get our homeless community maybe set up into a hotel for up to two weeks or however long that this might be. Because I know I'm working. I talked to my sister Kayla. She's working down in Saskatoon with the emergency response team in Saskatoon, and that's what they did down in Saskatoon. Is they opened up a hotel for their homeless community, and it's all. I believe that it might be paid for by the federal government, as in to isolate our homeless community down there in Saskatoon. So maybe we can look at doing that here. I talked to the owner of Drifters Hotel. I think it's that hotel right beside Co-op Gas Bar, or I can't remember where it's by, but it's going down the highway towards out of town, a Drifters Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And she says that there's 14 rooms available, and so we can set up 14 homeless community members in these rooms for up to 14 days. So she sent me the price, and she's also willing to, do some in-kind work, as into knocking off $10 off each room per night. So that was really awesome on her end. Lana, I believe her name is, the owner of Drifters Hotel. So she's sent me a letter. So I am just writing up an application right now. I think the deadline is for Monday. So I'm going to be filling it out and sending that in today. And hopefully, come Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, maybe I'll hear word back from them. And then we'll go from there, kind of thing. So we're looking at getting our homeless set up into Drifters Hotel for 14 days. I'm working with Jamie Charles out of Cravings Late Night Food. We can supply them with a hot meal once a day, courtesy of Jamie's Cravings Late Night Food.
Nice.
So he's sending me a bill and then let me know what kind of process and what kind of in-kind services that he's putting on the table there too. So we can supply these homeless with a hot meal plus a home for 14 days, is to keep them isolated. And then the men in the north there as well could be utilized there as security as well, just so that way we're not tying up the RCMP department and laying it on these community members, knowing that like, these are the rules, these are the guidelines. If you're not abiding by them, and then you're going to be out. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And who wants to be out on the cold streets right now during this time? I'm pretty sure that they're scared, just like we're scared too.
A couple things I want to mention that I really like about this, in addition to being a citizen-led initiative, which is always great. It kind of kills two birds, because if you look at, maybe let's say it's $20,000 or something, for 2 weeks for these 14 people, for everything for the federal government, or however they divide up the bill, to be paid. I guess the idea would be that if these 14 people were out on the street acting as vectors for COVID-19, the load on we heard the province say that one person can infect, hundreds of people. So the load
Oh,
on our
yes.
healthcare system, on those people missing work, on everything would far eclipse that 20 grand. I mean, the cost of one ventilator is more than that. So I
Hmm.
think there is good science in being preventative. And a little bit of context, I was in that meeting on March 31st digitally, but that announced funding for at-risk and homeless persons in the province, where they said they were funding 10 shelters, something like $170,000. So it's not really the hugest amount of money, and I don't think any of them were north of PA. So that kind of leaves the Ronge and scattered sites out in the cold, for lack of a better term. Now, I did ask about that, why the north was overlooked. My question wasn't answered. I did get a reply from Jeff Redekop, Executive Director, Income Assistance and Service Delivery, that basically said they're working with people that they have in the past, and that if somebody, a homeless person, did get a positive, they would put them up in a hotel. But the idea that we're talking about here is, why wait? Why endanger more public people? Let's get these people safe, warm, and not in a position of further risk. Right? Is that right?
Exactly. I mean, why be reactive when we can be proactive as a community here? I mean, putting in this federal grant, and if I get approved, I could be killing maybe five birds with this one stone.
Now that's a good hunter. That's a man of the north right there.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that could be, we're helping the local homeless community as into isolating. We're helping our local businesses. And we're taking that load and that stress off our nurses and our doctors here in the community, and as well as it's giving the men of the north, something to look forward to as well on top of that type of stuff too. So, and as well as it's helping our community members feel safe and protected.
Well, I for one am glad that people are taking initiatives into their own hands. I'd be remiss if I didn't say it's unfortunate that these kind of proactive, as you put it, efforts aren't coming out of our municipal governments or even higher up. But in the vacuum of policy comes those organic efforts like we're seeing. So hats off to Men of the North for being proactive. And I know you'll push on with educational check stops and housing the homeless, but to our viewers, let us know what you think of that idea as well. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Chris and his Men of the North are going to push on, but we want to know what you think. Chris, is there anything else? I know we're going to do a PSA for the radio after this, but is there anything else you want to say on these topics?
No, just for the community, just to keep up what you're doing. Keep up with the hand washing, staying at home if you possibly can. Contact us. We could definitely get out there. We can get your groceries for you, cleaning supplies, prescription, anything that you kind of need. So write us a list, email us, that kind of thing. And like you said, we're going to do a public service announcement here in a few minutes. So, keep up with the hand wash and keep up with your social distancing from anybody outside your family bubble. And like I said, we're in this together, and together we can get through anything working together as a community.
Nice. And this is Easter weekend, so everybody practice with extra care and caution. Yesterday was Good Friday, but we're all trying to have a great Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and on into the future.
Oh, yes.
So with that, Chris, thanks for your time again. Different times, I tell you, but I know people in the Ronge are happy to have you and the other people doing what you do.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, and also go on our Men of the North Facebook page. All their information on there. We actually have an art contest too going on right now.
Oh, nice!
It's going really well too. So there's lots of stuff there going on in there.
Nice. It's amazing what when you see the silver lining, how many cool things are popping up, distance education and the sharing of beauty. So go to Men of the North, participate in the photo contest.
Yes.
So stay tuned for more news from NBC and from Chris and Men of the North.